Good evening. I will call the meeting to order at this time. If you will please rise for the invocation. I will call on Mayor Pro Tem to lead us in the invocation. If you will remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will ask Pack 64 to lead. I'm sorry, was that? Okay. Yeah. Correct me again. All right. To lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening, Lord, this beautiful seasons you brought us through, Lord. Thank you for the holidays and all the many blessings you brought on us last year. As we move into this new year, Lord, just pray that you'll bless this community. Keep us safe, Lord. Help us do the work that you have us to do in honor to your citizens and the people that will come and left before us, Father. Pray, Lord, you'll be with those that are protecting the lines daily, Lord, for us across the seas and airplanes and things where they are. Just keep them safe. For this we ask in Christ.
You guys will come to the front. Whenever you're ready, if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, the flag's over here.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Nice job.
Here you go, guys. Take some, hey, take that with you. Thank you.
Free hay. Gentlemen, you have the agenda in front of you. We do have a couple of additions. One addition to the consent agenda, which has been placed at your table this evening, is the appointment of a housing authority member. So that's at your request. I ask that that be placed on the consent agenda. And then also we will need to go into closed session. So we could add a closed session to the agenda. Any other additions, corrections to the agenda? Oh yeah, the removal. Sorry, we do have a couple things. The meeting's getting shorter, so we do have a couple of items that are going to be removed. We will remove from the consent agenda item number 3, which is the career ladder topic, and number 8, which is the bid award to Performance Automotive Group in the amount of $133,644 for the purchase of police vehicles. We will remove that from this evening's agenda. And that is all.
Mayor, I move we approve the agenda with the addition of the consent agenda item regarding the appointment of a housing authority representative and deletion of consent agenda items number 3 and 8. And a notice that the closed session is already on there. So I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. Motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we will move on to our first presentation, and that is acceptance of the 2018 North Carolina American Water Works Association and Water Environment Federation Award for Potable Water Distribution System of the Year. So I was just talking to these gentlemen about how we supply clean water, and one of our struggles in Smithfield is our aging infrastructure, and how a lot of times we take for granted going home and turning on that faucet to get a clean glass of water or to take a shower, all the things that you don't see that are going on. So Ted, thank you to you and your staff and everything to make sure that we have clean, drinkable water here in Smithfield.
Quite well.
Turn it over to you,
we
sir.
enjoy that. Thank you. I was going to introduce Mr. Kevin Irby. He's a member of the North Carolina AWWA, distinguished member, and they're actually going to present the award to Pat in the town.
So since we're wearing a North Carolina sweatshirt this evening,
Move to the front.
we might need to postpone this to the last item on the agenda. Go ahead, Patty.
All right, well, thank you, Mayor. Your words were very well spoken about the importance of infrastructure. And my name is Kevin Irby, as Ted mentioned, and I've been working in the water industry for about 24 years now, and it's been my pleasure the last couple of years been working on the North Carolina AWWA as a board of directors, and one of the fun things we get to do is come recognize utilities such as you all who have done a fantastic job. And it's particularly exciting to be here tonight because the town of Smithfield is getting recognized for two very prestigious awards, and we're going to kind of do them as one because Pat wants to get out of here and watch a basketball game. So, as I mentioned, and the cool thing about these guys, the first thing they mentioned when I came and talked to them and introduced myself, the first thing they said is, "This is for our guys. This is for our people out there." And that's just to recognize the type of leaders these guys are. And the North Carolina AWWA and WEA is very lucky to have the talent and support of many extraordinary volunteers and water professionals. Over the past 96 years, we have expanded the awards program as a way to recognize some of these very excellent volunteers and the best and brightest in the North Carolina water industry. And I come before you today to recognize a few of these individuals. The North Carolina Collection and Distribution Systems of the Year Awards are selected by the North Carolina AWWEA Wastewater Collections and Water Distribution Systems Committee, a group of my peers. The purpose of these awards is to identify and recognize municipalities that protect the public health and natural beauty of the environment through being proactive with their management, operations, maintenance, beyond what the minimum of an NCDENR or the minimum of the permitting requirements. So they're going above and beyond to make sure that faucet of water that you turn on to get a nice clean glass of water, flush your toilet, everything's gone away. They're taking care of that, going above and beyond what is required. And we're going to recognize the town of Smithfield as a recipient of the overall Collection System of the Year Award, which is tough to get in and of itself, but you hit the two for this time and also are getting the Small Distribution System of the Year Award. The town has demonstrated that they perform quality collection system maintenance procedures through the efficient use of labor, materials, equipment, and innovative methods to keep y'all's collection system in good working condition and to minimize any health hazards or property damage that occur due to sanitary sewer overflows during wet weather and dry weather conditions. The award honors the collection system personnel that serve their community with a high level of professionalism and diligent work in the operations and maintenance of your wastewater collection system facilities. In the area of the water distribution, the town owns and operates 122 miles of water mains, 4 above-ground water storage tanks, 2 pumping stations serving your over 6,000 drinking water customers, with the entire system operated and maintained by 10 permanent staffers, 8 of whom are solely dedicated to system field operations. So on behalf of the North Carolina American Water Works and Water Environment Association, it's my pleasure to congratulate the town of Smithfield on receiving both of these awards.
Thank you, Mr. Irby. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, so we'll move on. We don't have any public hearings this evening, so you gentlemen are lucky from that standpoint. We'll move on now to citizens' comments. Anyone wishing to speak at this time, please come forward to the mic. Yes, sir.
I'm Judge Patterson. What else am I supposed to tell you?
Your address.
418 Westerman Place, Smithfield. It's the same old story. Parking on 3rd Street. We're hoping that we can, make some forward progress on that. We've, had the idea of a one-way street, and I know that there's probably some studies that need to be done. I don't know how to go about doing that, but it's just with our shop, you know, we get people all the time coming in saying, wow, I finally was able to get a parking spot and I'm able to come in and look and see what you've got. I'd like to hear that a lot more often. That's it.
Thank you, sir. And we will, I mean, we are, I know, actually, I've received your, our last meeting, was it last meeting you talked about it? So it's one thing we are, you know, we will look at. And
Well, I'll continue to talk about it. Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none. We will now move on to the consent agenda. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Business items. We don't have any business items tonight either. So moving right along.
Cub Scouts picked a good night.
Exactly, definitely. It's a great night. So we'll move on now to council members' comments. Any? So at this time, I will turn it over to the manager for the manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First this evening, I'd like to introduce our new marketing technician, Brian Eves. Put a kind of a face with a name. Brian started last month. He's doing an outstanding job for us. He's still getting his feet wet, but we've already increased our social media presence by about 50 to 75%. So we're doing real well in that area. So I want to welcome him to our staff and our town. I want to remind everyone of our comprehensive plan meeting scheduled for February 19th from 6 to 8 at the fire department training room. Anyone who is interested in our land use and how we're going to be able to benefit from that in the future should attend that meeting. I'll draw the council's attention to a memo in my packet, be the second page, from our auditor. We had conversation with them again today as our audit is past due. Hopefully we'll get that resolved yet this month. I will say that this firm did have some problems due to the hurricanes this year. They're still recovering from that. They are also the auditors for the county, and I checked with them today, and they're in the same boat we are. So everybody's having a little bit of trouble. I alerted the council earlier this week that our CDBG grant was not awarded that we put in for. I regret that information. I think everyone worked really hard to try to get that done. I know Councilman Lee also assisted in several meetings that we had on that in his district. It's regrettable that we were not awarded that money. However, it's not unusual, especially for a $750,000 grant to not be awarded the first time. So we'll continue to work through that process and bring another opportunity to council as it presents itself. Last thing I have, Mr. Mayor, just a note to our community, our staff. A special thank you as we close out 2018 to all the hard work that's been done in Smithfield this year. Encourage everybody to keep their foot on the gas as we go into 2019 because there's going to be a lot to do. We're already starting off really strong. I anticipate we'll finish even stronger at the end of this year. I just wanted to thank everyone, all of our volunteers, our community partners, and all the work that they've done for us this last year.
Appreciate it. One thing I did want to say, I can continue this meeting on a little bit longer than 14 minutes, is I did want to say thank you to everybody that had involvement in putting together our Christmas parade. I thought it was an outstanding event. I think I received a lot of comments from the community. I know that we had quite a few floats in there is one thing that we had discussed. I think the town had 2 floats in there. I know Smithfield Selma High School had 2 floats in there. In fact, Councilman Barber and myself, we actually were in the parade twice. We went through and then we went back and jumped on the utility department's float. And Ted, I want to say to your staff, everybody that did, that was incredible. All the way to the squirrel on the transformer. That was just an incredible float, and you guys did an outstanding job. But it's just a great way to build community support and so forth. Other than that, we did have a great 2018, and we are looking forward to carrying this over into 2019, Mr. Manager. And we don't have any other comments. Oh, I did want to say, gentlemen, that I encourage you to stay in scouting. As I mentioned to you earlier, my son, who is a senior this year, should be receiving his Eagle Scout in February. And it's just an incredible program, and you learn so much, but it just makes you the things that you learn in scouting will prepare you for a life journey ahead that you just don't even realize right now. So I encourage you to stay in and rise up and all the way up to Eagle Scout and then beyond. Thank you again for coming this evening. And gentlemen, at this time, if there's nothing further, I will accept a motion to go into closed session to discuss the manager's 2018 performance review.
I make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11AC.
Have a motion to go into closed session. All in favor? All opposed? All right. We'll go into closed session this time. Thank you very much, everybody.